Hey, what's up? It's Greg from Fishing Headquarters, and today is Monday, September 12th. I'm down here on the south end, Holgate, on the south end of LBI, taking a stroll on the beach midday on this beautiful Monday. So as I take a stroll here, you can see behind me, it's a lower tide. I think low tide's 3 or 4 o'clock today. There's a good little swell coming on the beach still. If you checked out the last fish report, I think I posted on Thursday or Friday, kind of shared that there was an incoming swell, a long period ground swell coming in the, say for the weekend. Came along, kind of faded out, still a little 3-4 foot wave coming along the beach right now. There's anglers fishing the beachfront, catching kingfish, catching fluke, catching some bluefish. Anglers fishing this past weekend, also fishing the jetty, got some tog, got some triggerfish, got some sheep's head, also some striped bass and bluefish. The bay side, you've got a lot of blowfish still around. There's also some weak fish spicing things up. Definitely still some fluke, even though they're making their way out. Still some fluke fishing taking place. So right now we kind of have a lot of different things going on. You also have some crabbing and clamming. I'm sure I'm missing a couple other things. But one thing I wanted to share with you guys with this updated fishery report is a little bit about the swell and different styles of swell, long period versus short period swell. A lot of times in the Jersey Shore, we kind of see a shorter period swell. Sometimes it's more of a choppy, more of a washing machine-like from shorter duration winds. Lots of times that's in the 6, 7, 8 second period kind of stuff. As you start to see it in the fall kind of time frame, we start getting these tropical systems, we start getting these far-reaching storms, and we start getting these longer swells. Longer swells, say, sometimes 10, 12, 14, even 16 seconds. Very rarely do we see anything more than that, but it happens. And kind of what I wanted to share is that longer period swell has a much different characteristic than a short period. Longer period has a longer duration, more spaced out, much more powerful as well. And sometimes it's masked by deeper water. When it hits a shoal or a sandbar, it really jacks up and you really see it pop out. It has a lot more energy and much longer waves, almost a beach long down the beach sometimes. Shorter period swell, a little more of say choppy or wash machine like. Most of the time we see that on the say shorter kind of blows where you get a little duration wind, I'd say a day or so. Smaller size storms, kind of give you that churned up wash machine like. For me, it's a little different fishing wise. I really like to fish that longer period swell. Gives you much more rolling like whitewater. I'll see if I can help you guys here to see this behind me. Further up the beach where I'm walking is going to have more prominent sandbars, so you'll see that swell out more. But you'll see there's some rolling whitewater coming across the sandbars. And that longer period swell allows you to fish a lure in there. Gives a little more of a sweep too. Sometimes a choppy kind of wash machine like is more difficult to fish lures. Kind of gets your line all over the place and pop it around. Sometimes people have trouble line slack. Also line control with a lure. Bucktails a lot of times will penetrate and get through just about anything. But sometimes, say a swimming plug will kind of get all wonky on you in some chop. I'll kind of flip around this way so you can kind of see this bigger swell kind of coming on the beach here. But one thing I wanted to really share is that if you're going to go wading, you're going to step into the ocean onto a sandbar like we kind of have like I'm coming up to here, and say getting out to say knee deep or thigh deep, you got to really be careful. These longer period swells will kind of pop up out of nowhere. You kind of see the sets are more spaced out, and when they come through, they got much more energy than say what you may be used to. We really only see this in that say fall time frame, late summer, fall, which is happening right now. It's also the same time that our lifeguards disappear, so it's pretty kind of odd how the two go together. But definitely use your best judgment. I can just hopefully tell that don't get out there, don't get out too deep. Store staffer Blake actually got caught up one time years back in a bigger swell on a sandbar, say fishing out knee deep, thigh deep. Kind of a couple of waves came in, picked him up, and took him out with the rip. One thing to keep in mind: there's two radically different things, like backwash and rip currents. Two different things. A lot of people say, oh, there's rips. A lot of times it's backwash. But rips are really good to fish. If you can identify a rip, fish them. You also see sometimes you'll see the beach is really chewed out, like a real steep kind of slope. I kind of have a little bit of a slope behind me. It's higher back there and it's lower down there. Sometimes it's a little more steeper. That swell will come up, that energy kind of fades right back down and bounces back, and then you'll get a swell going the opposite direction. That'd be like a backwash situation, which can also sweep you off your feet. And if you see that, I wouldn't advise jumping in the water and swimming. It definitely gets a little more treacherous in those scenarios because it catches you off guard from behind when you're obviously fishing looking out. With that being said, there was definitely a tragedy just recently here on the north end of LBI. A swimmer's in distress, and we tried to help him out, and then somebody ended up drowning. So I just kind of heard it through the grapevine. I posted something the other day. I had a little bit of a video of a couple cutters and somebody looking. I didn't really know what was going on, but I thought somebody was obviously being looked for. But I heard the tragic news. It's such a bummer to hear. Definitely condolences. I'm assuming it's a local family or a tourist family, and somebody obviously lost a loved one. So it's total tragedy and crisis. But hopefully that we can learn from, say, that issue and make, say, maybe make a positive light of the situation where, people need to know that longer period swells we start getting this time of year can be treacherous. They can be they can steal lives. Use your judgment as best you can, and when you are fishing, I would suggest if you're wading, try to head out there with a friend. Make sure you have a buddy before you get out there, say knee deep, thigh deep, just to be safe. That all being said, the beaches are starting to open up here. We're starting to get our beaches back as the swimmers and lifeguards and the summertime kind of fades away. You see, I'm walking the beaches here at Holgate. It wasn't really that easy to drivability here over the weekend with the big swell and the high extreme tides. But as you see behind, there's a whole lot of beach. I'll actually take a stroll up here to the crest here, up top so you kind of see the flatness here. But you can see the wash through. It was all the way back up to the dune line. There really wasn't much beach to drive on, but Holgate's open right now. Just saw a couple trucks drive by. It's beautiful beach conditions right now at the low tide. If you are going to be coming down here to fish Holgate, you got the permit. But just try to say a word to the wise would be, know those tides, know those swells. If you see that you're going down there at mid-tide and it's coming up, and there's, say, a new swell, especially around the moon, you're going to lose beach. And some people don't realize it happens so quick, but it happens with a snap of fingers. So use your best judgment. Try to keep your eyes on the forecast if you can. For me, that would be Surfline and also Magic Seaweed. Those are both very, very good apps. They're free. You can get a short range forecast, say 1, 2, 3 days from those guys for a very, very detailed forecast off the beachfront. You'll see the wind, the swell, the tide, the sunrise, sunset. Surfline and Magic Seaweed are both great apps to use. If you want to get more of a stretched out, say like a long range forecast, you are going to have to pay, but you don't really need to do that. And that will give you an idea if you got a short period, long period, any of that kind of stuff. So hopefully you guys can get out, do some fishing this September. There's a whole lot of good fishing taking place. There's probably some flukes sitting right in this little pocket right here, right over there, and should be some kingfish. Heard some really good reports of fluke up on the north end and the inlet from guys fishing off the rocks and also from the boat. Striped bass fishing recently with that swell and that wind was good. I think they'll still be sticking around. It's only going to get better from here. Blow fishing's good. Weak fishing's pretty good. Definitely a lot of different opportunities right now to take advantage of here fishing Long Beach Island. Gear up at Fisherman's Headquarters. Get out there and have some fun. Have a great day.